Hello everyone, it's the Axle Shifter here, and I am back with the next Multiverse Wars episode number 79. And today, we have a battle between two animated movie antagonists, ones that start off innocent and normal, but then slowly turn into the threat that they became today. We have Syndrome from The Incredibles versus Titan from Megamind. Who would win this battle? Brute or smart? Brain or brawn? Yeah, that's pretty much the base of it, so let's get straight into this one. Can't wait for this one. Syndrome is the primary antagonist of the Pixar movie The Incredibles. He was originally just Buddy Pine and was Mr. Incredible's biggest fan and hopeful sidekick, or at least he hoped to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick. However, he eventually grew to despise his hero he once looked up to and constantly wanted to be with after being rejected by him. Then over the next several years, Buddy would then go to develop advanced technology and weaponry in the hopes of one day killing his former idol. He created a highly advanced robot called the Omnidroid and used it to kill various superheroes from the glory days, and some of them were very powerful, like Hypershock or, well, Gamma Jack, as everyone seems to fucking love for some reason nowadays. But eventually, every time one suit destroyed a certain version, another would come along and kill them. But eventually, he was defeated and killed in the end by Mr. Incredible, throwing a car high in the sky into some, plane jet turbine thing or something, and he eventually got shredded up thanks to his cape. Edna was right. Anyways, now let's talk about his powers, abilities, and feats. In terms of strength and durability, Syndrome is really only as strong as the average human without his technology, but with it, he is far more powerful, as he can ragdoll Mr. Incredible thanks to him using his 0-point energy gloves, which can freeze his opponents and removes their gravity, making them easier to throw around, like pretty much the Gmod gravity gun. But this is impressive since Mr. Incredible is stated to be the strongest and greatest superhero within the Incredibles universe, which means that he would upscale characters or superheroes like Hypershock, who can generate magnitude 6 earthquake with his punches, meaning that based off calculations, this superhero would be in the town level in terms of strength. Yet the Mark IV Omnidroid killed him, and Mr. Incredible scales above those things, but Syndrome with his 0-point energy gloves could throw him around. But that doesn't make him as strong as Bob, and Bob was out of his prime, so it is kind of less impressive, but still, it is still kind of impressive still. But that's nothing compared to the Omnidroids themselves. These robots are described as Syndrome's best and most successful inventions by far, as they were solely created for the purpose of killing supers and to counter their powers and abilities. The Omnidroid Mark IX could bully Mr. Incredible and nearly killed him. And keep in mind that even though Bob was past his prime, he can still beat the Omnidroid Mark VIII, and he was still very strong. Yet the most powerful version of the robot is the Mark X. It could fight Frozone and the rest of the Parr family along with Bob, and it was really only defeated because the only thing that can penetrate or damage the robot was itself. So they just used that to its advantage. So in terms of AP and durability, Syndrome would scale to human level without anything in its arsenal, but to city block level honestly at its peak using all of his gear. As for speed, he can react to Mr. Incredible throwing a large rock at him and could immobilize the Parr family with his energy gloves. He could even tag Dash with them, and Dash once outpaced a security camera which captures about 30 frames a second, and he's fast enough to run on water. Plus, he can react to gunfire from the Omnidroid's laser and just gunfire as in general. This should give Syndrome subsonic combat and reaction speeds, though this could be higher given the fact that he can dodge his own Omnidroid's laser blasts and his rocket boots, which allow him to fly, so yeah, this easily gives him mobility advantage. Next is intelligence, and of course, Buddy is a fucking genius, as you can tell, as he invented dozens if not hundreds of incredibly advanced technology and weaponry for the time, including his own rocket-powered boots, a way to harness 0-point energy via the 0-point energy gloves, and of course the Omni droids, which are smart enough and powerful enough to counter and even kill multiple supers. He even created a several-year-long plan that including Operation Chronos, which involved killing those same superheroes and evaluating and making any necessary changes to the Omni droid if one failed to kill its target. But now we have his gear and equipment. We have the Omni droids, of course, from the Mark 1 to the Mark 10, the 0-point energy gloves, the rocket boots, several explosives, the hovering wrist robot, which can operate underwater and can scan for life forms. However, it can be tricked, as it was by Mr. Incredible. Then we have the energy wrist cannons, where besides from it shooting the 0-point energy blasts, it can also shoot lightning bolts. Then there's the Vipers, which are lesser known, but they're the helicopter-like vehicles with ducted fans attached to the twist and control the vehicle's altitude and movement and shit. Then there's the Velicipod, which are round open cars with four surrounding blades that spin at exceedingly high speeds to keep them airborne. And lastly, we have the Manta Jets, which are specifically designed for transporting resembling manta rays that also have translucent holographic monitor inside which can travel underwater, so Syndromes can just travel through those. But despite everything going for him, he still has his weaknesses. Firstly, he's super arrogant despite being pretty intelligent, as shown when he went into Bob's car without his permission, but that was just when he was a kid. But also, at Mr. Incredible's biggest fan, he thinks he already knows everything, and plus he has shown to be a coward. Plus, without his tech, again, he is just a normal fucking nigga. But overall, Syndrome proves that you don't need powers to be strong. He is the most dangerous example of a supervillain, because they aren't born, they're made, usually by laughing at the wrong kid. Hal Stewart, better known as Titan, is a former TV news cameraman and the main antagonist of the DreamWorks film Megamind. We don't talk about the second one though. Anyways, he was a former nerdy and shy cameraman and had a huge crush on Roxanne Ritchie, who later became pretty much vengeful after she rejected him. And this was possible thanks to Megamind giving him the serum that gave him Metro Man's powers, before he was defeated by Megamind via the serum antidote, turning Hal back to a normal dude. Titan was strong enough to lift and throw part of a skyscraper. This would require over 327.4 gigajoules of energy, or enough power to destroy multiple city blocks. But he should be stronger than this, considering that Hal should be comparable to Megamind's Metro suit, which was specifically designed to replicate Metro Man's powers. Also, he overpowered and destroyed the Black Mamba mech suit from Megamind. Plus, Hal could also disperse the brain bot, creating a massive explosion in the process. Plus, he can also no-sell a gas explosion and withstood his own heat vision, as well as surviving blows from the Black Manta as well. So at his peak, Titan should scale around town levels in terms of AP and durability. And as for speed, Titan is faster than base Megamind. And keep in mind, base Megamind with no equipment walked from the Grand Canyon and back in roughly 50 minutes. Plus, Megamind outran a dynamite explosion and could dodge lightning. Yet Titan is still faster than him at his base. Also, he has heat vision too, which are described as laser beams, so Titan has a light speed attacks. Enough said. Not to mention that he can create a sonic boom by flying. So Titan should have massively hypersonic levels of speed, to be honest. As for intelligence, although he lacks common sense and was easily fooled and manipulated by Megamind, he still figured out that Metro Man, in Metro Man quote, was in fact Megamind through disguise through his grammar, and he also did receive training from Megamind on how to use his powers and to become a skilled fighter, technically speaking, and before how he became a villain, pretty much. So I say that, for the most part, Hal does lack common sense. He can be pretty stupid most of the time, though when it really comes down to it, when the chips are down, he can be fairly intelligent, I guess you could say, or at least figure out something's wrong, I guess. Now for his powers and abilities, and they're the standard Superman clone type of power, like super strength, super speed, super durability, flight, heat vision, and X-ray vision, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But as for his weaknesses, he's not very intelligent most of the time, plus he's very egotistical and emotional, which could hinder him during battle. Plus he has still a limited amount of combat experience, in addition to being extremely carefree and can easily be distracted. But overall, Titan is a reminder that raw power without restraint will always end a disaster, or a man who burns down the world simply because he was rejected. But now that we've discussed both characters, it's time I talk about who would win this fight. And while both have their strengths and their weaknesses, in the end, I would have to say that Titan would be the winner of this battle, and I will tell you why. Firstly, Hal is just simply stronger and way more durable than any of Buddy's inventions, and even Buddy himself without his inventions. While he did restrain the Harp family by using his 0 point energy gloves, it's likely that Titan could simply dodge the blast, or at least dodge at least Syndrome's attempt to capture him using the 0 point energy gloves, due to Titan's overall superior speed. And speaking of which, Titan has shown way more impressive speed feats than Syndrome, as he can create sonic booms by flying and is faster than base Megamind, who can dodge lightning. Plus, can use heat vision too, which are lasers, light speed attacks. So yeah. Plus, he just has the better mobility advantage over like Syndrome in general in terms of flying. So, But Syndrome does get the intelligence advantage pretty easily, and it's not even close. He could potentially manipulate Hal and pretty much doing something like fucking stupid and potentially gain the advantage, like capture him or restrain him using the energy gloves. I mean, if Buddy could restrain and even ragdoll Mr. Incredible using the gloves, then he could potentially do the same thing to Titan in theory. But, however, Titan should be capable of at least still dodging them, or even if he does get restrained, he could potentially break out of them and destroy all of the Omni droids too, since Hal has shown far better feats of strength, attack potency, and durability compared to Syndrome's robots and other inventions, and himself. Also, just pretty much that. Titans is just simply far stronger, far faster, and far too durable for Buddy to handle. So, despite being super intelligent and skilled, and while this would be a hard fight, technically, Titan should beat Syndrome more times than not. The winner is Titan.